Neha Shah from EDGE Institute of Engineering and Technology from the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering. Today I am going to explain to you about the sampling theorem from the subject of digital signal processing in the first unit of Introduction to DSP. Now what is sampling theorem and what is the basic requirement of sampling theorem? Sampling theorem is basically used to convert the continuous time signal to the discrete time signal conversion. So how it will convert it in terms of discrete time? By taking the samples at a particular instant of time only. We will taking some samples. So because of it will convert the continuous time signal to the discrete time signal. But for that we have to use the Nyquist criteria to fulfill some conditions. So what is Nyquist criteria? And based on this Nyquist criteria we are defining the sampling theorem. Now what is the sampling theorem? So if we are defining the statement of the sampling theorem, we can say that a continuous time signal x of t can be completely represented in its sample form and it will recover back from its sample form from because if we will taking the sampling frequency fs is greater than or equals to twice w, where the w is the maximum frequency of the continuous time signal. So if we are taking the twice w frequency fs, then and then only we can convert the continuous time signal to the discrete time signal, and then we can recover back the original signal. Otherwise it will not recover it back. So if we want to prove this sampling theorem, so for this proof, first of all we will see that the first one is the original information signal, in which we are taking the continuous time signal which is at each and every time instant of time. Now it will multiply with the sample signal. So at a particular sample it will give you the sampled version of the signal. So we are representing the original information signal x of t, and the sampling function will be representing in terms of s of t, and the sample version of the signal will be representing in terms of x del of t. Now how we defining this s of t? So for this we will taking some steps. The first step is we are representing the original signal and the sampling signal. So in the first step we are representing the sampling function s of t mathematically. Now how we are representing s of t mathematically? So if we are defining this s of t function, this one s of t, you can say that this one is s of t function. In this you can say that this function is unit impulse signal function, right? Now it is located at ts time interval. So because of it will, if we are representing the function, then it will representing like this del of t. Now if we are representing the del of t function on the ts time instant, then it will representing like del of t minus ts. Similarly, if we are representing it in terms of minus ts, then the function will be del of t plus ts. And if we are adding all these functions, all these samples, then all these samples will be represented in this form: s of t equals to summation n equals to minus infinite to infinite del of t minus n ts, in which ts is the sampling time interval. Now next step is we are representing the sampled function mathematically. Now what is sampled function? It's a multiplication of original information signal x of t with this s of t. So if we are representing x del of t mathematically, then the equation will be x del of t equals to x of t into s of t. Now original information signal x of t will be representing as t will be, it's a representation of n number of samples at ts time intervals. So instead of this t, we will write down nts. So x of nts into s of t will be representing as x del of t. Now, if we are representing x del of t in this, if we are putting the value of s of t from this equation, so we can say that x del of t equals to summation n equals to minus infinite to infinite x of nts into del of t minus nts. Now the next step is we have to represent this sample signal in its corresponding Fourier form. Means we are representing x del of t in terms of frequency domain, means x del of f. So if we are taking Fourier transform of this sample signal, then it will give us answer of x del of f. But before that we will finding the value of s of f. Now what is the value of s of f? As s of t equals to summation n equals to minus infinite to infinite del of t minus n ts. If we are taking Fourier transform of it, then we can say that by using time shifting property, Fourier transform of s of f will representing as s of f equals to fs summation n equals to minus infinite to infinite del of f minus nfs. Now, if we are finding value of x del of f, so how we are finding x del of f? We can say that if we are multiplying two signals in the time domain, then corresponding to it in the frequency domain, it will representing in the form of convolution, right? So if we are taking multiplication of two signals x of t and x of t, so we can find out the value of x del of t. So if we will finding the Fourier transform of it, then x del of f will convert like this: x del of f equals to x of f convolve with s of f. So already we had find the value of s of f. We will put in this value in this equation and it will convolve with x of f, so that we can find out the value of x del of f. So if we are finding the value of x del of f, then the value will be x of f convolve with s of f, and we had put the value of s of f, which is fs summation n equals to minus infinite to infinite del of f minus nfs. Right. Now, if we are applying the property of the convolution, then we can say that fs is constant, so it will be outside of this summation. And if we convolve these two terms, then we can say that summation n equals to minus infinite to infinite x of f is convolved with del of f minus nfs. Now we will apply the rule of the unit impulse signal del of f. So if we will convolving the original information signal with unit impulse signal, then we can say that the answer is the original information signal on which the impulse signal is located. So applying to that rule, we can say that answer of this will be answer is information signal x at the instant of f minus nfs. So if we simplify this, then the answer is fs summation n equals to minus infinite to infinite x of n f minus n fs. Okay. Now from this, we will separating this in two parts. First one is for n equals to 0 and the second one is for n does not equals to 0. So if we are taking n equals to 0 in this part, then we can say that it is considered as fs into x of f. Plus another term is summation n equals to minus infinite to infinite n equals to minus infinite to infinite. In this we will not taking n does not equals to 0 x of f minus nfs. Now what is our requirement? First of all, we have taken the original information signal x of t, then we have converted it in terms of discrete time signal, which is x del of t. Then for simplification, we have taken the Fourier transform of it, which is considered as x del of f. Now from that we have to find x of f. So from this equation of x del of f, we have to find out the value of x of f, so that if we are taking the inverse Fourier transform of it, then we can find out the value of x of t. So from this we will removing the second part, so we will finding the x del of f equals to fs into x of f only, and from that we will finding the value of x of f, and if we are taking the inverse Fourier transform of x of f, then we can find out the value of x of t. So we will filtering the second part, so for that we have to use filter. So x of f will be representing like this: 1 upon fs x del of f minus summation of this, means the second term. Now this will be goes in the filter, so for that we will take a range of f in between minus w to w, because we have taken fs is greater than or equals to twice w, right? So I am taking the range in between minus w to w, so the second term will be removed. So the final answer of x of f will representing as 1 upon fs x del of f. Now in this we had taken fs is greater than or equals to twice w, so the minimum value of fs equals to twice w. So fs equals to twice w, so if we are putting this value in this equation, so x of f equals to 1 upon twice w x del of f. So this is the final value of x of f. In this we had put the value of x del of f. So the value of x del of f equals to this. Now if we are taking the Fourier transform of any signal, then we can say that its value equals to summation n equals to minus infinite to infinite x of t into e raised to minus j omega t, right? But in this, instead of t, we will taking n into ts. So the term will becomes like this: summation n equals to minus infinite to infinite x of n ts into e raised to minus j 2 pi f n ts. So from this equation we can find out the Fourier transform of x, which is x of f. Now the next term is Ts. What is Ts? Ts means it's a sampling time and it's the inverse of the sampling frequency Fs. So Ts equals to 1 upon twice W. So we will put in this value in the above equation. So the equation will becomes like this: x of f equals to 1 upon twice W, summation n equals to minus infinite to infinite x of n into Ts. Instead of this Ts, we had put the value as 2W, 1 upon 2W. So the term will be like this: x of n upon 2W e raised to minus j 2 pi f n by 2W. Now the next step is we are reconstructing the original signal. So how it will be reconstructing by original from reconstruction of the signal from the original from the sample. So it will convert it in terms of original signal x of t. So by taking inverse Fourier transform of this, we can recover the original signal back. So if you want to recover the signal back, it means if you want to find out x of t, so for that we will taking inverse Fourier transform of x of f. So we are taking inverse Fourier transform of x of f, so it will gives you x of t. Now we will put the value of x of this one x of f in this equation. So the x of t equals to inverse Fourier transform of this term, means 1 upon 2w summation n equals to minus infinite to infinite x of n divided by 2w e raised to minus j 2 pi f n by 2w. Now just we are simplifying this so that we can recover the original signal x of t back. So if we are simplifying this function, then we can say that x of t equals to, now we had taken the range as minus w to w. So we taking in the inverse Fourier transform. What is the equation of inverse Fourier transform? Its equation is x of t equals to integration over minus infinite to infinite x of f e raised to j omega t df, right? So in this equation, instead of this minus infinite to infinite range, as we had taken the range in between minus w to w, so we are taking the range as minus w to w. This one is x of f into e raised to j omega t df. Now instead of omega, we had taken j 2 pi f. So the term will be e raised to j 2 pi f df. Now the next rule will arrive over here. Which rule is that? If there will be two integration summation, two summation, any term will be there, then we will rearranging the order. And how the order will be rearranging? It will be rearranged that the summation will come first and this integration will go at the last. So first of all we are writing 1 by 2w, which is constant, so it will be outside of the summation and integration, right? Next one is we are putting the value of summation, which is from n equals to minus infinite to infinite x of n by 2w. And then we are taking the integration, which is ranges from minus w to w. Then we will taking all the values which has the f term will be there. So we are writing like this: e raised to minus j 2 pi f n divided by 2w e raised to j 2 pi f t df. Now the second term e raised to j beta plus e raised to j into e raised to jb, it will representing like this: e raised to j into a plus b. So we are representing the second term in this form, and then now we will integrating this part. Then the integration will be e raised to j 2 pi f t minus n upon 2w divided by this integration is with respect to f. So all the other terms except this f will goes in the denominator part, and all the other terms will remain as it is. So the next step is 1 upon 2w summation n equals to minus infinite to infinite x of n upon 2w, and the integration of this will be e raised to j 2 pi f in bracket t minus n upon 2w divided by j 2 pi into t minus n upon 2w. Now the range of this will be minus w to w. So if we are putting the range of this, then the higher range minus lower range. So in the first bracket we had taken w, and for the second part we had taken minus w. So this is the simplification. Now you can see that this term is e raised to j theta minus e raised to minus j theta divided by 2j. So we'll apply the Euler's formula, which is it is converting in terms of sin theta. So instead of this, we will write in sin theta. So e raised to j theta. So all the other term except this j will consider as a theta, right? So I am writing like this: x of t equals to 1 upon twice w summation n equals to minus infinite to infinite x of n upon 2w. In bracket, it will representing in terms of sin theta. Now what is the value of theta? The value of theta is 2 pi w in bracket t minus n upon 2w, and whole divided by pi into t minus n divided by 2w. Now from this, now you have to apply the next rule, which is if we are taking sin pi t upon pi t, then the value will be representing as a sin ct. So it's a sin c function. So we are representing this function in form of sin c function. So what will be the function? All the other terms will remain as it is. So I am rearranging this part as the same as the denominator part. So you can see that the numerator part is 2 pi w in bracket t minus n upon 2w, right? So bracket is same, and in the numerator it's a 2 pi w, and in the denominator only pi. So this 2w will goes in this denominator part, so it will give you the same part in the numerator and in the denominator. So the final term, this term will representing in terms of sin c function, which is sin c of 2w into t minus n upon 2w. So this is the final answer of the x of t. So we can recover the original signal back by using sin c function. So it will be recovered by using the process of interpolation. So the next step is considered as it's a graphical representation of interpolation process. So how is representing the original information signal x of t in the form of interpolation process? So it will be representing like this. You can see that this one is a combination of sin c functions. So original signal, if we are taking original signal as like this in the frequency domain, and then it will representing as x of f. Then the sample function will be representing as x del of f, which is at the instant of fs. So it will be representing after fs intervals, and in this we have taken the range in between minus w to w. So you can see that this range is from minus w to w. So original function will be in terms of minus w to w, and it will be sampled in this form. Now after it, if we are representing it in the interpolation process, so you can see that this one is sin c functions. So it will be sampled at the location of fs frequency, or if you are taking in terms of time, then it will be located at the ts